Hello everyone. What a beautiful summery day it is today. Perfect day for a nature quest. I don't have to go very far before I find something interesting. Just look at these beautiful rocks out basking in the sunshine. It's easy to take rocks for granted, but unlike most things in our environment, rocks are ancient. Before ending up in my yard here, rocks have been on journeys of change that have taken them thousands, millions, or even billions of years. Isn't that amazing? Did you know that you can tell where a rock has been, the middle of the earth, the depths of the ocean, or high on a mountain, just by sniffing it? Apparently, it's important to get down on the ground and look a rock right in the eye to find a really good one. You'll know you found one because it will feel just right in your hands. If you want to keep it for a long time, it's a good idea to get one that's not too small and not too large. But I do understand if you pick a big one, sometimes they just speak to us. There are all kinds of reasons to go searching for rocks. This beautiful collection of heart-shaped rocks was curated by my good friend Tamara on her travels with her family across Canada. My friend Deanne found this amazing rock on her morning hike. I've noticed several painted rocks on my journeys lately as well. Have you? And what would we do without those helpful rocks? The rocks for resting and taking a quiet splash in a creek, rocks for sliding, or rocks for leaping into the water in summertime. These rocks are too big for us to pick up and take away with us. We just need to share a grateful moment with them before moving on. And what about those rocks that help us pass the time out by the windy shore? Have you ever found a nice flat one that you just knew would make the perfect skipping rock? I don't know about you, but I've lost track of time before in pursuit of that perfect skip. If you can make it out to the water, this is a nice time to do some outside math. Take a chart with you, and your family of course, and keep track of your rock skipping attempts. After collecting a good sample of rock skipping data, finish up by telling the story of your rock skipping adventure in bar graph form. The shore is a wonderful place to explore rocks. You might even notice that other creatures appreciate rocks too. Barnacles, and take a peek under a rock. Find lots of cute little baby crabs hiding from the hot sun. If you were so compelled, you might even do a little search of all kinds of rocks and keep some data on what you find. Now, if you can't make it down to the shore, that's just fine. Go searching for a rock right in your own neighborhood. Bring it home and get ready to do a measurement task. We are going to measure mass, length, and even volume if you like. Here's how. When we measure mass, we are trying to figure out how much something weighs. This is hard to do without a sensitive scale. You can, however, make an estimate so long as you have something to compare to. Well, just so happens that most common cell phones weigh around 200 grams. Very handy to achieve the following task. First, you're going to find a rock that is heavier than a phone, or, of course, 200 grams. You are also going to find a rock that is lighter than 200 grams and one that is approximately equal to 200 grams. And how will you achieve this feat without a scale? Well, remember that you are estimating. Hold a phone in one hand and a rock in the other and decide which one feels heavier. I'm pretty sure that my rock is heavier than my phone. So, now on to the next step. Time to trace the rock, record your findings, and make another estimate. How many grams do you think your rock is? My rock was noticeably heavier, but still pretty close to the phone, so my estimate is 250 grams. Now find a rock that is less than 200 grams, trace it, write your findings, and make an estimate of its actual mass. My thinking is that the smaller rock was less than half the weight of my phone, so I think 70 grams seems reasonable. After a lot of searching, I definitely found one that seemed equal to my phone. So, time for tracing, recording my findings, and my estimate this time, of course, is 200 grams. Now it is time to measure the length and width of each rock tracing. It's best to have a centimeter ruler for this task, but if you don't have one, you can estimate. Your finger's width is approximately 1 centimeter. Repeat your fingers over and over again and you have an approximate centimeter estimate. A nickel can be a handy reference as well. It's approximately 2 centimeters long, and if you have multiples, it's a handy way to also estimate length. The common 8-dot Lego brick is 3 centimeters in length, and playing cards are close to 9 centimeters in length and 6 centimeters in width. So even if you don't have a ruler, you still have lots of options for estimating length. And no matter what you use for measuring, draw 2 lines on your rock tracings, one that represents the length and one that represents the width. Once you've drawn your lines, label them with your measurements or your measurement estimates. Repeat for all 3 rock tracings. Finally, try the bonus volume measurement task if you have a measuring cup that looks a little something like this. Use the milliliter unit side if you have one. When we measure volume, we are measuring the amount of space that an object occupies. Volume is a good indicator of an object's overall size, not just its length, but its width and depth too. How do we measure space? Well, we're going to use a handy procedure called displacement. First, fill your measuring cup to a reasonable level. 300 milliliters is reasonable, I think, so that's what I filled mine to. By the way, your water does not need to be blue. I just did that to make it easier for you to see. Next, submerge your rock in the water, and you'll notice something interesting. The water starts to rise. Why? Pause and have a quick discussion. Why did it rise? Well, because the rock is pushing that water out of the way to make extra space for itself. The nice thing about using a measuring cup like this is that you can measure exactly how much extra space it needed. So, for example, if the water level starts at 300 milliliters and then ends up being pushed or displaced until it reaches 375 milliliters, that means the rock needed an extra 75 milliliters of space. The space the rock needs is its volume. Finally, make sure you snap a picture of all your hard work to share with your teacher. And also make sure that you get out there and enjoy some quiet time with a rock of your own.